Welcome to Backstage Pass, Rockstar Pro's official podcast. This is your opportunity to go behind the scenes of Rockstar Pro and hear from the wrestlers themselves. Now here are your hosts, Mark Turner and Bort Torkelson.
Welcome, Danguses and Ranguses, to the Backstage Pass podcast, the official podcast of Rockstar Pro Wrestling. This is episode 70. I, of course, am your host, Bork Torkelson, joined, as always, by Hollywood Mark Turner, who thinks it's cool to show up about 2 minutes before opening bell and like it's no big deal.
Hey, I show up 2 minutes before the bell. I'm ready to go. You know what? The show starts when I show up. How about that?
You think?
No, not really.
Who does all the notes and the prep work?
You do.
Yeah.
I try. I used to do notes.
Used to? What happened?
I got another job and I get here really late, but yeah. Other than that, yeah.
So
but it's episode 70. Well, let's talk about this. Talk about this.
Okay.
Enough about me. Well, one day we'll have a podcast that's all about me, and it'll be...
Will we?
I don't know. You're in charge. It seems like...
if I'm in charge, we're not doing that.
If you want ratings, if you want views, if you want everything, that's what you got to do, right?
Really? You think that...
Yeah, one day I'll be the Backstage Pass. I'll interview myself. How about that? That'd be really good.
That'd be great. I could take an episode off.
Really? Can you take one off now?
No.
Oh, okay.
We got to do the work that I've laid out for us.
Okay.
But
episode 70.
In the future, I like this idea. I'm just going to let you be the guest, you be the host. I don't
Okay.
have to, will you edit it?
Nah.
God damn it.
I'm not an editor. It's OR, right? Editor.
Okay. Well, let's move on and talk about some wrestling. That's why people tune into this freaking show anyway, right?
Absolutely. Backstage Pass episode 70.
It's don't bang on the table. That's
yeah.
That's podcasting 101, Mark.
You're right. I mean, we must only be a few episodes in. I'm still learning.
I think it was less than 10 without you.
Yeah, probably.
Before you joined.
Yeah.
And been 70 of the longest months of my life.
Really? That long?
So, the last big show here at Rockstar Pro. No.
Oh, wrong one?
I'm talking about in scope and scale, like a spectacle.
Okay.
Right? At the beginning of August.
Yeah.
It was the effin' Catalina Wrestling Mixer Volume 2.
Pow!
I know you were really chomping at the bit to get that.
I really
pow in
was.
there, weren't you?
Really waiting till after Volume 2 makes it an incorrect pow, but you know what? I did it anyway. But yeah, what an awesome night of wrestling that was. It was great.
It was phenomenal. Let's run through the results. Kicking things off in round 1, it was the Rascals, the current, well, at the time, and spoiler alert, now, Wrestling Revolver Tag Team Champions, Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz, who defeated the Killer Death Machines, Nevaeh and Jessica Havoc.
They did. It was a great matchup, and you just spoiled the whole tournament. So why are we even going through this? It was an 8-team tag tournament with the Pro Wrestling Revolver Tag Championships on the line throughout, and the Rascals did retain over the Killer Death Machines in round 1.
Are you telling me you don't even want to run through the results now?
Well, they were pretty kick-ass results. So, yeah, let's go through them. The second round 1 matchup, is that too many numbers?
Nope.
Second
No.
round 1
Just keep going.
between 4 competers and two tag teams.
Oh, my God.
1 ref. It was Shane Strickland.
How many people were in attendance, man?
I don't know. 50, 100.
Oh my God.
Is that a real number?
Just read.
Shane Strickland and Jason Cade teamed up, and they defeated the Night Riders of Alex Colon and Dustin Reyes. And I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with the duo of Shane Strickland and Jason Cade teaming up.
That was a really surprising result
was.
to me. We'd seen the Night Riders dominate tag team action. They are, they know each other so well. They have a lot of tandem offense that really I thought was going to bring them at the very least a round 1 victory. But Cade and Strickland came with a game plan, and honestly, they gelled almost instantly.
Absolutely. 2 great individuals, and like you said, they gelled great together. In fact, I thought they're at a disadvantage before the tournament. After that matchup, I thought they might win the whole thing.
Well, that didn't happen either, did it, Mark?
No, it did not, because you already spoiled it for everybody. Spoiled it.
Yeah, in our third round 1 matchup,
3-1.
It was the besties in the world taking on the other pair of rascals, Myron Reed and Trey Miguel. And unfortunately for my good friends Myron and Trey, the besties got the better of them.
Yeah, that they did. Myron and Trey, they weren't originally scheduled to be a part of the tournament.
Correct.
But they did get an opportunity in this tournament. They had a great matchup, but they came up a bit short to the besties in the world.
Yeah, and you got to hand it over to Davey Vega and Matt Fichette.
Yeah.
I mean, they are two-time Wrestling Revolver Tag Team champions. They came to fight, and in round 1, they got the better of Myron and Trey.
And they're besties. Yeah, they're best friends.
You gonna sing that?
Phil Stamper was singing that song like crazy.
You were singing that song.
What? Well, I mean, I was singing it all night after. It was in my head. I couldn't get it out. But, yeah, besties won. They advance.
In our final first-round matchup, it was LAX who defeated OVE. I mean, that was a brawl well before the match began. And then they got in the ring. It was a great contest, but an questionable result.
Yeah, to say the least. A very fast count by referee Brian Barton basically screwed over OVE, and LAX advanced to the semifinals. But this first-round matchup was unlike any of the others we saw. Like you said, it was a brawl from the get-go, just an all-out war. LAX and OVE, obviously no love lost between those two teams.
Yeah, and once again, PD Barton, that goddamn sodomite, you're just ruining everything for the fans here in Dayton, Ohio.
I really hope a certain wrestler gets his hands and murderizes Brian Barton coming up soon. We'll talk about that later.
We will. The next match was the Open-Invite Championship Scramble. It was a crazy, chaotic scramble, gauntlet style.
Yeah.
And Ace Austin pulled out the victory.
How about that? All sorts of big names in this scramble. Rich Swann putting the championship on the line. And Ace Austin, the Ace of Spades, comes out on top, wins the Open-Invite Championship. What a victory in his career right there. That could be a launching point that we look back on years from now.
Very, very big for Ace Austin. But again, we'll get to him a little later in the show. Let's get to the semifinals. Semifinal match 1, the Rascals, again, Wentz and Xavier, defeated Shane Strickland and Jason Cade. So that match ended in a way that I'm sure the Rascals didn't want. They didn't get much of a chance to celebrate before Cade and Strickland laid the boots in.
Yeah, absolutely. After the matchup, beating down one half of the Rascals, I totally remember that event. It was just, I couldn't sleep that night. I've been thinking about it ever since it happened.
Yeah.
It just can't exit my mind at all. I've been thinking about it all the time. Oh, man, poor Zach and Des.
Just tore you up on the inside.
It tore me up.
You know,
I'll never forget it.
You know those guys are my friends, not yours.
No, they're my friends. Remember the last podcast?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, they're my friends. Couldn't you hear that? You know, I really like the way Zach and Des, they make fun of their friends, you know? They like to pick on them a little bit. It's cute. You know, you wouldn't get it.
In our other semifinal match, LAX once again came out on top, defeating the besties in the world.
Yeah, LAX, a huge victory there over besties in the world, going on to the finals against the Rascals. And obviously, after what happened to the Rascals in the last semifinal matchup, LAX had a huge advantage going into the finals.
Oh, no question about it. But before we got to that, it was a Dayton street fight between Sami Callihan and Matthew Palmer.
Yeah, that one's, a year in the making?
Absolutely, yeah. It was
two?
at the last F&N Catalina Wrestling Mixer that Palmer attacked Sami before the scramble.
Yeah, and even beat him down. He used his own finisher against him, the stretch muffler.
Yeah, it's true.
Finally, Sami Callihan got his hands on Matthew Palmer, and he defeated him. He finally got his hands on him, defeated him in the Dayton street fight at the F&N Catalina Wrestling Mixer.
Yeah, and then we had our final for the Mixer itself, the last tag team match between the Rascals and LAX.
The Rascals overcoming the odds despite getting beat down in the last matchup. The Rascals came out on top and retained the Pro Wrestling Revolver Tag Team Championships. Despite the spoiler alert, trust me, it was an awesome event.
It was heroic performances by both Wentz and Xavier that night.
They're great.
They're not just the future; they are the now.
They are amazing
of professional wrestling.
No doubt about it. I mean, so much has been going on. Not just the F&N Catalina Wrestling Mixer. We've had so many great episodes of Amped this past month. Everything's just been awesome heading into Weekend at Murray's coming up.
Well, you say everything's been awesome, Mark, but I have to dispute that point.
What's that?
Because there's been some asshole running around with a chair, attacking wrestlers before their matches, sometimes during their matches. It's a plague on Rockstar Pro.
I have no idea. It's definitely gotten into the minds of John Murray and Ace Romero, among others. But those two especially seem to be so affected by this. I don't know. Maybe one of them. Maybe Ace is the chair sailing himself. I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. It's chaos all over the place.
Well, I mean, and it was just last week, Jake Chris got attacked for the second time.
The second time.
And he couldn't compete in his match against Dustin Rhodes.
No, he could not. I don't know. This has to come to an end. The chair sail left a message written in blood on a chair. It said soon. I guess he's going to reveal himself soon?
Well,
I mean, who knows what it means?
Tonight at Amped, I guess we got a bit of a picture of him, although his face was covered.
Yeah, his face was covered. The body size did not look like John Murray or Ace Romero. I'll say that.
No, sir. But in other news, we saw Shigehiro Irie win back the DDT King of DDT Openweight Championship from Sami Callihan, who had won it from him just a week, I believe, earlier in a triple threat with Trey Miguel.
Yeah, what a great series of matches that was with Sami Callihan, Shigehiro Irie. Just great matches right there. And Shigehiro winning back the championship. It's always great seeing Shiggy in the Rockstar Pro Arena.
Absolutely. Yeah, a great night for Shiggy. Will you cover the next point?
Absolutely. John Murray, the Rockstar Pro World Heavyweight Champion, successfully defended his World Championship against True Grit Bruce Gray from way back in the day of Grits and Gravy. Those two know each other. What a matchup it was. John Murray, he's the third longest reigning champion in the history of Rockstar Pro Wrestling. Can you believe that, Bork? It's amazing.
Frankly, I cannot.
It's great. He's going to be the longest reigning champion. It's coming up real soon.
It's truly unbelievable.
Over 200 days. It's amazing.
Well, in much better news, we did see Brandon Edwards return to in-ring competition, and in his first match back, he and Austin Mannix, the Dirty, defeated Knight Riders to become Rockstar Pro Trios Tag Team Champions.
What a story that is. Brandon Edwards' very first match back, the Dirty, they've been fighting so long to get over that hump and become champions in this company, and they finally did it. His very first night back, not only did they win the championships, they beat the Knight Riders to do so. Perhaps the most dominating duo in the history of Rockstar Pro.
Absolutely.
What a moment for the Dirty. Great victory.
Yeah. They finally, reached their goal. Now let's see what they do with it, right?
Absolutely.
They are tag team champions in that trios division. Bruce Gray really hasn't had much to say to them as captain's champion. I'm curious to see how that relationship builds or not in the future.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, he definitely was bothering the Knight Riders a bit, trying to...
Bothering? He made them executive secretaries of the night.
And they did not want that title. Absolutely not. And we haven't seen him interact with the Dirty at all since they've won the tag team championships. But I don't know. I think Bruce Gray's preoccupied with his match with Clayton Gaines coming up.
Perhaps. Time will tell. And finally, before we get to our spotlight, Alex Colon last week defeated Ace Austin to become DTU Alto Impacto champion.
Man, Alex Colon, all that man does is win championships, right? I mean, that is the 6th different championship he has won in this very building. Just unprecedented. Nobody's even close to that figure right there. And Alex Colon won yet another championship in one hell of a matchup against Ace Austin.
Yeah, and that's going to make things quite interesting at Weekend at Murray's. But I don't want to spoil everything for you the way
done that enough.
Mark says I do.
So enough.
Let's go ahead and go to the Spotlight segment where we're going to talk to one Ace Austin Shakespeare.
Spoiler, you told him who it was. All right, well, I don't know. We're supposed to have a guest right now. Ace is supposed to be here, but... Oh, wait a minute. Ace Austin just appeared out of nowhere. Another magic trick from Ace Austin. How'd you do that?
Poof. Hello.
Mark,
amazing. Where did he come from?
He's been sitting here the last couple minutes.
No.
Just let him believe.
Why?
I don't know. It's part of the facade.
Yeah.
But,
next thing you're going to tell me is
important.
Next thing he's going to tell me is that Santa Claus doesn't exist, you know?
Mark.
That's just unreasonable.
What?
Your parents never told you?
Told me what?
Well, I guess the truth can be harsh and disturbing. But Ace, it's good to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, you don't sound like it.
Well, believe it or not, I got a lot on my mind.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it, man.
I mean, this Friday is arguably the biggest match of of my career so far. I mean, I've had, of course, big matches in scale, but as far as like achievements, I guess, accolades go, this is for all the marbles.
Yeah.
Everything I've had that's noteworthy as far as championships go is in this match. It's involved. It's my first international title, the DTU Championship.
Alto Impacto.
In fact,
Means high impact.
Oh,
does.
he knows Spanish? Wow.
and then we got the Revolver Open-Invite, which was huge. That was a huge show, and it was a huge moment for me. I got to pin Rich Swann. I pinned Rich Swann to get that one. So, and then, if that wasn't big enough for me already, Zach Wentz gets added to the match, and the CZW Wired Championship also gets added to the mix.
So that is a big deal, and let's
No
actually
doubt.
look back a little bit, because some of our listeners may not be aware that you do have a long history with CZW.
Absolutely. CZW has been very important and very vital in my career. I started in, a small area. I started with the Wild Samoans, and wrestling in the Pennsylvania area was a good start, a good foundation, I guess. But the first real break I got came with going to the CZW dojo, participating in Dojo Wars, making my way up there and showing what I had, and finally getting that opportunity to get on the CZW main stage. And when that happened, I mean, I feel like I did well. I feel like I always did well whenever they gave me the opportunity. But the way things played out, it's hard to fight for a spot at a place like CZW.
Sure.
Why that place in particular?
It's a madhouse. You got so many different people, so many different eras of wrestling and attitudes in wrestling mixed in that locker room, and it's chaos. It's dog eat dog. You got to fight for that spot, and sometimes you got to fight tooth and nail, blood and all.
So, what was it then that was the impetus, the catalyst, if you will, to bring you here to Dayton, Ohio, to compete at Rockstar Pro?
More than anything, it was the connections that I made inside of the Dojo Wars program.
Yeah.
It was the guys with more experience, the guys that were higher up, the guys who could present opportunities to guys like me that came around the dojo and interacted, and they had a hand in Dojo Wars. They wanted to see what we were creating there. So in particular, David Starr. David Starr was the first one I got a chance to jump in the car with and go places with, and I did well enough that he always invited me back into the car,
right?
For whatever trips came up, and it was through that I ended up out here in the Midwest for the first time,
Sure.
and I made the connections with Dave and Jake, and then when David Starr started pursuing his opportunities overseas and started traveling more, I had to make another step, and that step ended up being coming out here to the Midwest.
So it's been a pretty lightning fast rise for you. I mean, I know it may not have felt like it when you first started training and, paying your dues, going through all those hardships.
Absolutely.
But since coming here to Rockstar Pro, it feels like you've had a rocket attached to your back, because things have just been getting better and better. You've got, the respect, the approval of Sammy Callahan and Dave Chris.
That doesn't come easy.
No, it does not. And
Yeah.
you had to work your ass off for that.
100%.
But, things seem to be really going well for you now, not just here, but obviously internationally, and you're, performing in front of bigger and bigger audiences, getting more and more exposure. What's that feel like now, considering, how far away it felt when you began your journey?
Well, I knew that I was going to have to live every day and go through whatever I had to go through. I knew that there was going to be. Of course, I didn't know exactly what I was going to get myself into.
Sure.
I could have never known. In fact, I didn't even know independent wrestling existed until I showed up at the Wild Samoans.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was, from where I came from, it was all just television wrestling. That's all you ever saw. There nothing else was there. I didn't even know wrestling schools existed or anything like that.
Kind of an idiot, weren't you?
Hey, don't go that far, Borg. Come
Well,
on.
I mean,
Very naive to what's going on in wrestling. And then when I got into wrestling and I fell in love with independent wrestling, it it changed everything. And I always kept my ears open, and I always made sure I knew. Learning what I learned, I knew that the direction I was going was fast. So I was aware that I was getting farther and farther, quicker and quicker, only because of I'm trying to think of how to say this now. It was only because of the stories I heard and the things that you learn coming up with, especially in a place like the Wild Samoans, where it's like so many people that have been in the business for their whole lives.
Yeah.
So seeing that end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
and then seeing where I was going, so early in the spectrum, I knew that I just had to keep my hands on the reins and just make sure that my head was always in the game. And I feel like that's what got me so far, is that I made sure that I was always ready, so I never had to get ready, so that nothing would ever catch me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about your career. This year in particular, 2018, you're really starting to see all your hard work pay off, of winning championships, winning big matches, getting bigger matchups along the way. You won the DTU Alto Impacto Championship back in the spring, right? That had to be huge, winning that, an international championship. Had to be amazing.
It was unlike anything else. I've said it before that Mexico brings out a totally different side of me, and it's just being in a place so foreign to me and me being so foreign to them creates this really magical interaction where you really are larger than life to them, because they don't even understand the words that you're saying to them.
Sure.
So getting in that position and then getting that opportunity and finally getting in the ring on that last day of the tour with Loquillo. And the match that we had it took us all the way through the bleachers, outside this way, outside that way. It was unbelievable. But I really felt like I was in it more than I've ever been inside the ring during that match.
So that title obviously meant a lot to you, but it was just last week that Alex Colon took it away. So I'm curious as to, what do you think of Alex Colon as a person, as a competitor? You'll have a chance to step in the ring with him again at Weekend at Murray's, but, is this personal? Is this just business to you? What do you think of Alex?
Especially coming from a place like CZW before I got here. I knew who Alex Colon was. So I totally respect everything that he's done. Mm-hmm. I totally respect his experience and his position in professional wrestling. And I think it's because of that I let him get to me. I feel like he kind of took advantage of my inexperience.
How so?
In the fact that he followed me out to my car and totally called me out for no reason about that title. And to me, it was just like, it fired me up immediately. I couldn't believe it. People who I treat with so much respect, and after everything that I've been doing, I don't like to toot my own horn and put myself over by saying that I've accomplished so much lately, especially.
Yeah.
That's what fired me up. Just I felt like I've been in a good, decent, humble position. I've never got stepped on any toes, or at least done my best not to. Mm-hmm. And especially nobody like Alex Colon's. So having him just follow me out to my car and then call me out like that, I don't know. I just totally.
But you got to see now, looking back,
absolutely,
that you played right into his hands.
In that moment, I didn't see him the way that I say,
Sure.
that I've always seen him,
Mm-hmm.
with that respect and with that. I saw him as somebody who was trampling all over my accomplishments.
And that was enough.
And that was enough.
That was enough. Red.
That was enough to get in the ring with him, and I guess I was a little overconfident due to all the success I've been having lately. I thought it was just gonna be, my head in the zone, but it wasn't. I was mad. I was angry, and I let that I let that get in my head during the match.
Well, I will say this. At least you realized the mistake you made right there. And hopefully you can learn from it and figure out the next time you have the matchup. And you guys were originally scheduled to face off one-on-one in a rematch at Weekend at Murray's. But then all of a sudden this week, a third element got thrown into the wrench. And now Zachary Wentz will be involved in the match at Weekend at Murray's. So what are your thoughts on Zachary Wentz? We have to talk about him now leading into this matchup.
Zachary Wentz is a brother to me. You know, he's somebody I look up to. He hasn't been doing it that much longer than I have, but he's done so much more. You know, he's the perfect example for me in a brother. So, having had a match with him that ended up turning into a 4-way at CZW for the Wired Championship, I know. I like to think I know what I'm in for, having looked up to him and all that, but I know that he's a totally different player in the ring. Mm-hmm. So as much as I'd like to think that I can prepare, I know he's going to throw stuff at me that I have never seen before.
And like to a degree, I think you've got to credit your humility, your doing things the right way, to him being hard as fuck on you. Like, he gave you a hard time.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you needed that, did you not?
I did. It stuff like that prepares you for moments and matches like this coming up. Him being hard on me taught me, everyone being hard on me. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how it goes. It teaches you that sometimes being hard is the most important thing to protect yourself in the ring.
So what do you have, or what do you think's going to happen? You know, obviously you can, have your strategies, you can watch your film and so forth, but 3 titles on the line. Your
3 titles.
Wrestling Revolver Open-Invite Championship, Alex's DTU Alto Impacto Championship, and Zach's CZW Wired Championship. The winner gets all 3. Like you said, the stakes have never been higher for you. Ever.
But the odds have always been stacked against me. And that's never changed anything. So, I'm focused right now more than I've been on anything, ever. Everything has just been this opportunity to move forward and this opportunity to increase my experience in wrestling.
Yeah.
You know? This is so much more than that right now. This isn't just an opportunity for like the next step or the next level. This is for all the marbles. This is for a championship that I've gained, a championship that I hold, and a championship that I could only wish to hold now. So it's that added element. I think it could help me. Maybe I think it could shake me. It can shake me back into focus, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep that anger at bay, and to make my beef with Alex Colon right now just not a factor. I need to be focused. I can't let that drive me to make the same mistakes I did.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a matchup right here. If you win this matchup, I mean, this could be the moment we look back on your career as what really kickstarted everything. You know?
This is to solidify.
Yes.
This is to solidify and put an exclamation point on the momentum I've been having. This is another jumping point to really make a statement. I'm not just the young guy grabbing at strings anymore. I'm somebody with a foundation, with accomplishments, and I want to be a serious player.
All right, excellent. Well, before we let you go, there's one last thing I got to ask you about, Ace. So, over the weekend, I talked to someone. I won't call them a friend because they're a member of the Rockstar Nation. But they said they saw you up in Chicago at that big show they had up there. And that they walked up to you and said, "Hey, Ace Austin, like, I know you from Rockstar Pro. You're awesome, man." They said you totally big leagued them and just said, "Oh, cool," and kind of walked away.
What? I think you're making this up, Bork.
No, it
You think he's making
happened.
this up?
No, two different people came up to me that and said hello, and I said hello to both of them. You know? I don't know. Maybe it was.
Well, that's not the story I'm hearing. Maybe we'll need to look deeper into this.
I think so.
Scandal.
Who's the so-called friend you're
I
talking
can't tell you.
Maybe
I'm not going to reveal my sources.
Maybe it's when I was looking for my seat. I'm not really sure. I
You know what?
You sure you weren't passed out in a stairwell or something?
Definitely not.
The most amazing part about that story is believing that Bork has friends.
I never said friend. I said someone I spoke to
No, I can
Yeah.
see that.
in the Rockstar Nation. You know, I have the coolest friends. Zachary Wentz, Desmond Xavier,
They're my
Trey
friends,
Miguel.
right?
No, they're my friends.
Well, hey, Ace, I have one more question for you. How do you do that magic trick? What do you do with the card? How does the Ace of Spades appear everywhere?
He believes
How do you do
in
that?
shit. He thinks it's real.
I can't tell you. What? You think I could just tell you that?
I'm really curious.
It's prestidigitation,
It's
Mark.
gonna ruin everything if
Sleight
I
of
tell you that.
hand. Wait, what? No, you're fucking kidding me.
What?
God damn it, Ace.
Wait, you have a card? How'd you do that, Ace? Ace! Tell me the secret.
Come on, man. This
That's
is a real
awesome.
bicycle one, too. But never mind. Take your goddamn card back, and
see that card.
we'll... best of luck at Weekend at Murray's.
Thank you. Thank you.
Autographed it.
Well, there you hear it. Ace Austin, highly motivated for his match for all the gold at Weekend at Murray's.
No doubt about it. I mean, I was looking at that card, that Ace of Spades. I can't figure it out. It was in my hands, and then it disappeared.
You know, I did loan my shirt to Zach for a promo.
Did you now?
I bet he snuck it in my pocket while Zach was wearing it.
Did you loan your shirt to Zach, or did Zach just take your shirt?
Well, I mean, he knows that what's mine is his and what's his is mine.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, we're that close.
Does it work that way, like with money? Does he just go into your wallet and?
Well, I mean, if he wanted to, he could, but like
Really?
he is financially stable. He's doing better than I am.
Yeah, that yeah, I believe that.
Well, can we talk about Weekend at Murray's?
Sure, let's do it. Weekend at Murray's coming up this Friday. It is going to be one hell of an event.
I know.
I can't wait for it. How about our
Well,
first
you
matchup?
have to.
We have women's action. It's just 2 days. Well, when is this going to be posted?
Probably tomorrow.
Okay,
Thursday.
1 day.
Yeah.
It's just 1 day away
Yep.
from right now as I speak at this
Well,
moment.
yeah.
It's
When they're
for
listening.
the audience. Hey, it's for the audience. But our first matchup, we have women's action. It's the Derby doll, Lane Rosario, making her Rockstar Pro debut, going one-on-one with the Killer Queen, Nevaeh.
Yeah, and you always know it's a special event when Nevaeh shows up here at Rockstar Pro.
No question.
The last time she was here, it was with Havoc as part of the Killer Death Machines. It is at Weekend at Murray. She returns as a singles competitor to take on Lane Rosario.
Yeah, let's see what Lane Rosario has. Let's see what she brings to the table at Weekend at Murray's.
Indeed, indeed. We'll also see Pure Trash Ron
boy.
Mathis
Oh, boy.
team up with our
Killer.
principal owner, CW Scott,
Yeah.
to face the Destroyer,
Yeah.
Jeremiah, and P.D. Barton.
Yeah, P.D. Barton will be in a match with Ron Mathis and C.W. Scott on the other side. Both of them can't wait to get their hands on P.D. Barton. And if you hear Ron Mathis, he's going to kill Barton.
Yeah, Mark.
He's going to kill him. He's going to murder him in a ring.
well, that's-
Murder him.
That's a little much.
What?
I think you're speaking figuratively.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I thought he was going to murder him.
No, but I do think for this rare instance, we can agree that, yes, I want to see Jeremiah, and especially P.D. Barton, get the crap smacked out of
No,
him.
how many matches has P.D. Barton just ruined as of late here at Rockstar Pro? He's destroyed all these matches.
Dozens.
We just talked about the LAX match against OVE.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
one hell of a matchup, and he just totally destroyed it at the end by quit counting. He's been doing that all the time. It's
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
he sucks.
It needs
He's
to come to an
a
end.
garbage person.
It needs to come to an end, so murder in the middle of the ring will help this company.
Now, Mark, come on. I mean, yeah, I want C.W. Scott and Ron Mathis to beat him up. Murder is a bit much.
How about C.W. Scott coming back to action for the first time in a long time?
Yeah. Let's just let's hope his ankles hold.
Let's hope. Maybe he won't be doing a Ryback move in that one. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that's the key,
That-
right?
That's the key. Just
That is
don't do a
the key.
Ryback.
Exactly.
No doubt about
Also, we've got Trios Captains Championship action as the president of the administration, Bruce Gray, puts his title on the line against Clayton Gaines, and it seems like these two have been going at it for ages.
For a long time, months upon months, these two have been battling. They've been arguing. They've been interfering in matches. They've been having pose downs. They've been doing this and that, and finally comes to a head once again. Trios Captains Championship on the line. Let's see if Clayton Gaines can take it away from the so-called president and Bruce Gray.
So-called.
Yeah, I mean, he named himself that. Nobody voted for him. Right?
I'm not sure about your grasp on democracy, Mark, but we'll move on. We just spoke with Ace Austin. We have a triple threat for 3 title. CZW Wired Champion Zachary Wentz versus Wrestling Revolver Open-Invite Champion Ace Austin versus DTU Alto Impacto Champion Alex Colon.
I'm proud of you. That was a lot of words right there. But yeah, 3 championships on the line. It doesn't get any bigger than that right there. The winner of this matchup walks out with 3 championships. And not just any 3 championships. These are all 3 prestigious championships.
From different companies.
Yes, from different companies. And the world of professional wrestling. This is huge right here. And we talked to Ace about it. It is obviously huge in his career, in his young career in the sport of professional wrestling. I can't wait for this one.
It's going to be a great one. We're also going to see 2 legends here at Rockstar Pro, 2 of the greatest wrestlers this company's ever seen, in Aaron Williams and Dave Christ. One-on-one, no fancy stipulations,
That's right.
Just 2 men finding out who the better is on that night.
Sure, and that's the way it should be between these 2. They've had so many matchups throughout the years, we're talking years upon years ago, whether it's tag team matches, singles matchups, in this area and throughout the country. They've faced off so many times, and once again they will face off at Weekend at Murray's. They've had a couple matches as of late, singles matches, and it's gone 1 on each side. This is the rubber match right here between Aaron Williams and Dave Christ. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, worth coming for that alone.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll see a number 1 contender match between, 2 more incredible athletes. If there's anybody as good as Dave Christ, it's Jake Christ, and he's taking on Larry D in a number 1 contenders match.
That's going to be off the charts amazing, no doubt about it. Larry D and Jake Christ, and with what's going on in the World Championship scene and that match coming up later on that we'll talk about, the winner of this matchup may have an advantage depending on how violent that match gets in the main event.
That's
but
a great
Larry
point.
D and Jake Christ, that is huge right there. Both of them have been trying to get that Rockstar Pro World Championship. This is their chance right here.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a first-time appearance at Rockstar Pro as Jeff Cobb comes to Dayton, Ohio to take on Dustin Reyes.
Man, this Jeff Cobb, he is so good. If anybody listening hasn't seen Jeff Cobb in action, this is your chance right here. Come to the Rockstar Pro Arena, go to Weekend at Murray's. He is going to make an appearance. This is going to be one hell of a matchup. 1-on-1, he goes against Dustin Reyes. I can't wait for it. I've been waiting to see Jeff Cobb show up in this building for a long time.
Oh, yeah, and it all happens Friday, September 7th, here at 1106 East 3rd Street in downtown Dayton, Ohio at Rockstar Pro Arena. Let me throw in a quick PSA, though, my public service announcement.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it stands for?
Yeah, never Jeff Cobb a baby.
Never Jeff Cobb?
Have you seen the way Jeff Cobb, just ragdolls people?
Yeah.
We call that Jeff Cobbing.
Oh.
Don't do that to a baby.
No, not at all.
No.
I wouldn't, no.
Good, just making sure.
I wouldn't do that to more than a few babies.
Okay, get to the main event.
And then in the main event, the Rockstar Pro World Championship is on the line. My man, the professional athlete John Murray, puts the championship on the line against Ace Romero. And you talk about a feud that's been going on for a long time. How about John Murray and Ace Romero?
AC, baby, this message goes out directly to you.
Oh.
It's all on your shoulders now, man. It's up to you. You have to end John Murray's championship reign in this chairs match. If you don't do this, John Murray very well is...
Say it.
He could become the longest reigning world champion in Rockstar Pro history, and I will not stand for that. Ace Romero, you cannot allow that to happen.
Hey, it very well could happen. John Murray's held the championship for over 200 days. Who would have thought back in February when he won the championship, he'd still be holding it to this day?
Not me.
It's an amazing reign John Murray's had.
Sure.
Dreams do come true, and John Murray shows the world that. But John Murray, it's gotten very serious between these two. And those the chair attacks by the chair assailant, whoever that is.
Yeah.
It's getting serious.
It is. So be there Friday, September 7th.
Or be square. Haha.
Rockstar
I just
Pro
thought of that.
Arena. That's very old, Mark.
What?
Is that Huey Lewis?
That's news to me. You love me, Bork, don't you?
No. Can we be done? Are we done?
Hey, just come to Weekend at Murray's. Friday, September 7th. 1106 East 3rd Street. beautiful downtown Dayton, Ohio.
I just said
it's
all
going
those
to be
things.
so beautiful, whether it's raining or not. It's going to be beautiful. It was raining today. Should I keep talking?
No.
I mean, it's going to be a great night right here in Dayton, Ohio. I can't wait for it. John Murray, champion forever.
We've
Pompano
discussed
Joe
this.
party. Let's go.
You have to wait.
What?
Okay, we're done now.
It's going to be awesome. Woo!
That's all for this episode. Be sure to come back for another edition of Backstage Pass, Rockstar Pro Wrestling's official podcast.